Today, I'm going to share with you just a few of the many ways that I've used Claude Cowork over the past few days. And I'm going to give you examples that I've used both when I'm working as well as in my personal life, so you can really see just how powerful this tool is. The big shift happened for me whenever it was my husband. He told me that I need to start thinking about using Claude Cowork whenever I typically would go to an app, start just going to Cowork and asking it to do whatever I'd be going to the app to do. So I'll give you some examples in today's video. And then if you want to see any specific workflows, just let me know. One of the first things I used Cowork for this week was actually setting up some projects within ClickUp. At my agency, we use ClickUp to keep track of our work. Typically, if I was setting something up in ClickUp, I would go into ClickUp, I would copy a template over into a new folder within a space. ClickUp has spaces that have folders that then have lists, and then I would go and I would assign them to the applicable person. I would put dates on them, but rather than doing all this manually and going into ClickUp, I can just start with Cowork and I can give it a lot of information so that it can basically do all this for me. But to just simplify it, let's say that I'm going to give it a video project and I want it to create a new folder called Bill under my space called Clients. I need 6 lists created within Bill. And in each of those lists, I need these tasks. All tasks should be assigned to me, Katie Thomas, except edit should be assigned to Jean. And I could also give it due dates here and everything. But for simplicity, let's just hit let's go. Okay, so it finished running and it created all the tasks. If I'm in my Bill client, I can see I've got all of my video lists created and it's already all done for me. Again, I could give it dates and everything, but this just goes to show you can do a lot of your work within Claude Code rather than having to come into all these different applications individually. Another thing I like to do when it comes to project management and Claude Code is I will ask it for status updates if anything is overdue. I will ask it who's working on what each day. I will ask it to basically be that project manager and keep me updated on where everything is at. And that's so much faster for me to just come in here and ask it rather than actually going into the app, creating all those reports, all those filters. Cowork can just be that person for me and do the heavy lifting for me. The next thing I used Cowork for this week was to create a slide deck for a webinar that I'm co-hosting. It's a brand new webinar that I'm holding, and it's actually all about using Cowork. So before, what I used to do is I would create a slide deck, an outline, and then I would give this to my designer. This time I wanted to see okay, can I totally design this pretty much in Cowork? I personally am not a designer. I have a great designer and I've been super fortunate to work with, but I wanted to just put Cowork to the test. And so I did a series of prompts and I found that doing different steps along the way and asking it to critique its work along the way, you get a really nice output. So I'll actually go ahead and I'll share this. I will blur out any client information or remove it. But I think the slides look so awesome that it came up with, and I'm really excited about this presentation. Even if I need my designer to come through and zhuzh it up, I at least have a really good base, a good starting point, and this got me a working product very quickly versus having to wait a couple days for a designer to put this together. The great thing about Cowork is whenever you have it all connected to all of your apps and has access to them, it can do so many things. For example, another way I used Cowork this week is I had it organize some receipts for me. And not only did it organize them and put them in folders by the month, but it also named them appropriately and did a lot of what would have previously been manual work for me or someone on my team. There are literally endless use cases, but I'm finding that I'm also having a lot of fun on the personal use case side. So just to give you a few examples there, one of the things I did this week, I live in Kansas and Walmart grocery delivery, big thing. So I came here and I said, can you add to my walmart.com cart? I need some apple juice. And I've even done it where I just say apple juice and then it gives me some options to pick if you aren't sure of what kind, or maybe you're getting almond milk. It'll be like, hey, do you want silk almond milk? It's super awesome. I also used it this week personally to see when my Amazon delivery was coming. Now you will need to make sure that you have the Claude Chrome plugin so that it can actually go out on your browser and do this work on your behalf. But talk about a total game changer. I don't even have to go to Amazon or go to Walmart. I can just do all of this right from Cowork. Just to show that this worked, if I go here, I can see now in my Walmart cart, thanks to that prompt, we've got the Great Value Honeycrisp style apple juice in my cart. Pretty cool. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you that I use this personally is I'm working on planning a group trip. And I got all these pings of essentially locations that we could go, places we could stay, Airbnbs, Verbos. And if you're like me, just a list with a lot of links, it's like, okay, I've got to get this organized. I need to see this in a table, what options I have. So Claude Code was able to take all that information and essentially pull it together in a way that helped me understand, like, okay, what are options? Do they make sense? What's the travel time? What is the average cost? All this information. And this just took a matter of minutes, and I was able to send it back to the group so that we were able to all make a decision a lot easier together. I know that using a new tool can feel intimidating or overwhelming, but when you really start viewing this tool, like I said at the beginning of the video, as something that you go to first rather than you going to a certain application. So rather than me going to ClickUp or me going to Slack, I just go to Cowork and I ask it to do what I would do in ClickUp or do what I would do in Slack or ask it for those reports. It really opens your mind to what is possible. And the more that you use it, the easier it becomes. So if there are any workflows you want to see, any ideas that you want me to test, let me know in the comments. I always love doing videos like this, and I will catch you in the next one.